There's a lot of planning to do. There's a lot of predicting to do. Are you predicting what's happening? And are you planning what's happening? So if you stay to the end here, what I'd like you to do is write down for next year what it is that you want to do. All right. I want you to plan. I want you to set some goals for yourself. And they can be big goals. They can be little goals. So we've got to really think, what are my goals for 2023? Because we want to start planning. We should have already started planning. By the end of October, we should have next year's diary in place. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists and practitioners, responding directly to the needs of a practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business, something clinical, you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in practice. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast for our episodes. If you'd like more support, get in contact and I look forward to working with you soon. Hello. Today I wanted to talk to you about planning and predicting because in the Academy we have a couple of bigger days in the year. One is programs in practice at the beginning in May sort of time, and we spend the day putting together a program that we would want for our clients. So I work through with everybody how to create that program, and then we spend time over the next few months. Over July, we work through, and there's activities every week so that people can get their program up and running as long as they follow along. But that might not be there. Some people make an opt-in. Some people make a smaller portion than the full program itself. But here in November, we have the retreat, and it's always been a virtual retreat. And for the first time ever, and probably the only time ever, I'm doing an in-person retreat. So we've got people coming to Adelaide, and it's a lot of work running a retreat. But I've run everything else. I've run seminars, I've run symposiums, you name it, I've run it. So this was a case of, this is the last thing. Then I can tick the box. Yes, I've run a retreat. So that's kind of what it's about. And part of that being in the Academy, there's all of the business stuff you need, how to set up Facebook groups, you can buy that separately as well, by the way. There's actually a short course on my page for setting up a Facebook group, because obviously I run quite a lot of them. So there's that, but there's all sorts of educational stuff in there. There's a calendar with prompts for the whole year that's on a Trello board, so you can make a copy and turn it into your own prompt calendar. There's all sorts of things in there. There's trainings, there's red flags in there. So there's clinical as well as business information all waiting. And then 3 times a month, we have a meeting and we do co-working. We have co-working Q&A and we have a visitor as well. So we have coaching sessions. So tomorrow evening, we have a coaching session because on Saturday, the 5th is the virtual portion of the retreat. So all the people are going to be here and then they're also going to be there for the virtual portion of the retreat as well. And we're really looking about planning for the future. And tomorrow, the reason my Tuesdays are quite busy is because I consider them Academy days and I do all my Academy stuff on a Tuesday. And so I'm going to be in working and then I'm doing a coaching session in the evening about planning for the future. And planning and predicting is really important. Thinking about where you're going, not just with your business, but with everything you do. So we need to predict as well what is going to happen. Now, at the moment in Australia, we're at very low unemployment rates. The economy is actually doing well. Is that because there's this cafe economy thing where people are worried, so they go and spend small amounts of money on coffee and things they can afford to have a good time? Or is it because we've got low unemployment and things aren't as bad as the predictions, and they're certainly not as bad as the UK and America? So I think the same in New Zealand as well. Employment's not too bad. Things aren't too bad. So what are we planning for and what are we predicting for? Who are our group of people? Who is our niche? So maybe your niche is someone in a lower socioeconomic group. And if they're in a lower socioeconomic group, maybe you are looking at doing a program for those people or finding systems that they can pay smaller amounts, maybe more often, to be able to afford to see you. Because not only do we have to plan what we're doing, and I have planned next year, let me show you. This was this year's one. So I have a handwritten calendar, so you can see I've crossed off all the months. So I have a handwritten calendar and I've already started on next year. And it's really important that we are looking to the future and thinking, what am I doing next year? When am I available? When am I going to be able to put things in? When am I going to be able to do things? We need to be able to predict what our clients are going to be doing as well, what they're going to need within our niche. There is the thought that perhaps you're getting, or I'm getting, a bit insular and only thinking, at the moment, I feel very insular. All right, this is why I'm saying it. I feel very insular at the moment because I'm working so much on this retreat and I've got so much to do and I've just had surgery. All of these little things are sort of building up. So I sort of feel quite insular in that I've got to work to do these jobs and sort these things out and get things done, basically. So when we think about that future and we think about those predictions and what we're doing, we need to think about our clients, but we need to think about ourselves as well. So what is it how can you look outside the square? Where is outside your square? So I'm saying at the moment, I'm quite insular because I'm organizing for a retreat. I'm organizing for these things, these people in my group. And yet I've got all these bigger picture things, haven't I? I've got a podcast. I run trainings all the time. There's Black Friday coming up, for example. I'm working on something for that. So when we think about what's outside the square, what is it that I think people need? I have to predict and I have to look forward. And I also have to predict and look forward to my own exhaustion, my own education, and my own needs as well. So what is it that I need? I have my Facebook groups. I have a community, but most of my community is online. My natural health community is online. And because people are all over Australia, New Zealand and the UK, they're not local to me. There are certainly a number of people who are local to me, and that's lovely, but they're not all local to me. Now, when I think about connecting with these people, I have to think about that bigger picture. I have to predict forward. I use Zoom. Is Zoom going to be the best thing to use? I'm using Podia. I'm definitely changing off Podia. It is below my needs now. I bought it because it suited my needs at the time. I've definitely expanded beyond that platform. And so I'm going to be moving. So I need to predict what's going on, what I'll be doing, and what systems I need, what systems I'll be able to get rid of because I'm moving to another platform. So I'm predicting forward. I'm looking at my dates. I'm going, well, what will I be doing? What will I be offering? Next year, I'm in Peru for 3 weeks. My daughter has an internship in Peru and she's there for 3 months. So for the last 3 weeks, who wouldn't go and visit a country where their daughter is resident and speaks the language? Who wouldn't go on holiday? But that's March. And so that really messes up the term for me, the semester. So I have to think, how am I going to provide the graduate mastery program? What am I going to do? So I have to predict and think, what is the, so I'm getting messages now. What are you doing? What's the graduate program next year? The graduate program next year. And I have to work that out around my time in Peru and then the inevitable jet lag, because there will be major jet lag as absolute opposites. Well, I won't be able to work when I'm there. I won't be able to help anyone when I'm there. So should I start the graduate program before I go, or shall I leave it till I get back? So I'm sort of juggling many of these things. So I've got to predict forward with my clients, but I have to predict forward with myself as well. I know towards the end of the year, I get really tired and I have to make sure that I've covered everything for the future. I've covered everything for Christmas. So is my social media up? I've just sat down earlier and I did my calendar and I'd already closed off Christmas. No, I hadn't closed off Christmas. I'd closed off Peru, but I hadn't closed off Christmas. So I've closed off Christmas now. I need to make sure that I have my auto replies ready for when I'm in Peru. I'm going to have to change my voicemail to say I'm away, and I can do that then. That can be done obviously on the day. But emails, we can set up scheduling with emails. We can set up scheduling in groups. We can do other things. And so we have to think outside of that square. How can I get things done now so that I can have a break? How can I make sure that everything's finished to get that break? So I have a lot of people on the 90-day program who love the 90-day program. I meet people fortnightly and we really work on where they're at and what they're doing. Some of these people are newly qualified and they're setting up their business and they just want that one-to-one support. And other people have been in business for years and want to niche down somewhere. They want to work on something specific and they want that accountability partner. They want that person who's going to help them. So I'm going to have to close off that soon as well, because of course 90 days, that's 3 months. I'm going to be away. Everyone's going to be away. So there's really only another month in which, or till the end of this month, in which to book that and then have the Christmas break and then come back for a couple of weeks. So there's all sorts of things that I have to plan. How is your planning going? What do you do to plan? And are you planning for next year? How is that planning going? The other thing I've got to do is bulk record a number of podcasts because of the summer. Now in the summer, I go to one a week, but I'm actually really struggling to record anything at the moment because I still have my COVID cough, and I had COVID in July, and I still sitting around really annoying if you're listening to a podcast and someone's coughing, but really irritating me as well. One block over, the school is building a huge new building. So it's jackhammers and nail guns, and it's just all of the building site noise. So I can't record things. So it's like all of these things. So it's like planning and yet planning. So, I mean, if I had a basement, it'd be fine, but I live in Adelaide. Most of us don't have basements in Adelaide. So there's a lot of planning to do. There's a lot of predicting to do. Are you predicting what's happening? And are you planning what's happening? So if you stay to the end here, what I'd like you to do is write down for next year what it is that you want to do. All right. I want you to plan. I want you to set some goals for yourself. And they can be big goals. They could be little goals. They could be, I want to start my own podcast, or they could be, I want 30 minutes to myself because I've got young children. So all I want is 30 minutes to myself. So that's probably easier to achieve than starting your own podcast. So we've got to really think, what are my goals for 2023? Because we want to start planning. We should have already started planning. By the end of October, we should have next year's diary in place. And we should have our predictions for next year in place. Because by the end of October, remember, you've got the summer break. And even if, I don't know, if you're single and have no family, you'll still want to take a break because you will have been working. So even if you don't believe in Christmas, I don't believe in Christmas, but I do believe very deeply in presents and fun and meeting people and catching up with people. So I'm going to want to socialize, which means I won't want to be doing all my social media postings. There will be a few more. There will be a few more stories and things like that, but nothing major. There's nothing major anyway. So what is it we're planning for? If you've got regular posts going out, you might want to do them now for Christmas, because now you can do all the November and December ones, but that means that if they're scheduled from, say, December 8th, which is my son's graduation, and it's pretty much the time that school's finished. He doesn't graduate from school, he graduates from university, but that's okay. So I need to have everything done by December 8th for the break. So I need to do those things now. And Andrea, my VA, she needs to help me. And Ella, my VA, needs to help me so that we can get these things done and we can have production completed. So if there's something that needs changing, something that needs adjusting, we can go in and change it. There've been occasions where we've had regular posts going out and then something tragic has happened in the world. It's only the case of taking down one post. It's not the case of not having anything up there when everything's normal and settled and you're not doing anything. So we need to plan and we need to predict and we need to goal set. So if you stayed all the way to the end, sit down and write yourself a few goals for 2023 and then do some planning towards those goals. It might be you don't have a vision board. Those in the academy, there is a recording on how to create a vision board. Anyway, can't join the academy at the moment because we're about to have the retreat. So it'll be open again maybe in November. No, it won't be open. I still haven't decided. I don't think it will. But what we need to do is plan, predict. And to do that, we need to goal set and we need to sit down and spend a bit of time on our calendars. We need to block out time for ourselves. I mean, how do you invest in yourself, for example? What do you do to invest in yourself? So I like courses. I like a few particular people, and I've tended to gravitate towards those people for my marketing education, continue that, for support with copywriting. So I've gravitated to a couple of people. And then for my clinical education, I have also gravitated. I've kind of got things that I like doing now. So I like the Integria Symposium, although it's organized by a company and therefore there's sales pitches in it. It's also honest education. And so I like the real and honest education, and that's what I try to give people as well. So we really need to think, what are my goals? How can I achieve them? And what can I do? How can I reach those goals? How can I look outside the square? And what can I do for myself? I mean, I'm getting a break over the Christmas and New Year, and then I'm getting another break to go to Peru. I've got a week where I've opened my books back up again in January. So, but other than that, they're closed because I'm going to be away. I've delegated lots of my tasks and I'm trying to get ready for the new year. I'm setting my goals. I'm setting my intentions, and we have to do that now. We have to do that in October and November. We don't want to be leaving that until school's out in December, whether you have children or not. Life just gets busier around us as soon as the schools are out. And my kids one's about to finish university and the other one's finishing first year of university. And university students both are moving into exam time and all the rest of it. But the world just becomes busier when everybody's out and about, when the children are off school. So if you're single, you're still going to be busy because it's going to take longer at the supermarket. It's going to take longer to do the things you normally do because there's an entire subset of the population are out and about. You won't be tripping over school bags now at 4:00 in the afternoon at the entrance I went to Sephora and there was a big pile of school backpacks at the front door. But we're not going to be tripping over rucksacks. We're going to be tripping over those children in the shops themselves. So we do have to think to ourselves, I need to get this stuff done so that when I'm out, if I get stuck in traffic because there's something on, it doesn't matter. I don't have to race back. I can just do the thing I needed to do. So let's get ahead and let's think about getting ahead. Getting ahead takes a month. You can't just get ahead overnight. It takes a month to get a month ahead. All right. So we're already starting to try to get ahead for Christmas now. And that's just the way we do things. You've got to do it in advance and you've got to think about where am I going? What am I predicting for my business? What am I predicting for the changes that I foresee? So I've decided I wanted to learn pottery. So I've started a pottery class in November. Done pottery since I was a child at school. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to learn pottery. So now, because that's every Monday evening. So I used to see clients Monday. I've always had a late night Monday. So what am I going to do about my late night Monday? I have to predict how I'm going to work around that. Yes, I do a late night Thursday, but it's still prediction and still how can we do things? How can we organize things? What are we doing with our learning and how are we helping our clients? And how are we making sure that our clients know where we are, when we're there, what we're doing? And if we're going to be putting out blogs once a month, then your Christmas blog needs to be written now. November can be written in November. January needs to be written now as well, so that they're out ready to go. Unless you're someone who writes blogs on the beach or something, then that's perfect because it's beach weather coming up, isn't it? But in the southern hemisphere. And the northern hemisphere, if you like writing blogs looking at the snow, then for you it's perfect coming up. So I'm going to go now. I just wanted to get you thinking about planning and predicting. It's Monday as well, Mindset Monday. What are we doing? It's the beginning of the week. I know #Training Tuesdays and all the rest of it, but this is Monday. This is the beginning of the week. And so when we think of the beginning of the week, we have to think to the future of the week. But when we plan and predict, we're really looking 6 months in advance. I'm looking a year in advance, okay? So that I know I'm about to plan my holidays for July. How am I going to work that? I'm looking at July, I'm looking at March, and then I've got the graduate program. How am I going to do this? How am I going to fit these things in and be away or do what I want to do and take the breaks that I now want to take? I'm not a crunchy naturopath. I'm not sitting around in sandals. I'm not sitting around, with bad hair. I like getting out and about. I like hiking. I like seeing the world, and I work towards those things. Those are often my goals. I have holiday goals, and that's perfectly reasonable to have holiday goals, that you're earning money to go on holiday. You're earning money because it just depends where you are in your life. If you've got young children, you're earning money to pay for school supplies. You're earning money to do all the things you do with young children, for them to go to extracurricular classes. And then when they've grown up, you suddenly discover you have a bit more money for yourself and you're able to go off and do things. So we need to plan and we need to predict and you need to start now. So that's all for today. I'm going to leave it there. Do remember to share the groups and share everything. And it's been lovely chatting. And I look forward to chatting with you all soon. I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.